Because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because of why.
You know, when you look at a map of the European Union, you see the euro pretty much everywhere. But then there's Poland, a huge player in the EU, and they're still using their own money, the Zloty. Ever wonder why that is? Well, let's get into it.
All right, so here are the two currencies at the very heart of this story. On one side, you've got the euro, this huge symbol of European unity that's used by 20 different countries. And on the other, you have the Polish zloty, which, as we'll see, has become a symbol of something totally different, Poland's economic independence.
So, here's the thing. Poland joined the EU all the way back in 2004, and when they signed on, they legally agreed that they would adopt the euro, eventually. So here we are 2 decades later, and what's the holdup? The answer is this really fascinating mix of smart economics, a massive global crisis, and a really deep sense of national pride.
Okay, so to really get why Poland is hesitant today, we actually have to rewind the clock back to 2004. Back then, joining the Eurozone wasn't just some idea, it was seen as the grand finale of their big return to Europe. When Poland joined the EU in 2004, the path forward seemed totally clear. I mean, as you can see, adopting the euro was just the next logical step. The thinking was pretty simple. Get rid of those annoying transaction costs, boost trade with neighbors like Germany, and really lock Poland's economy into the West. It looked like an absolute win-win.
But then, something happened. An event that put the entire global financial system to the test and completely changed how Poland saw that promise of the euro.
The 2008 financial crisis. This wasn't just some blip on a chart. It was a brutal, real-world experiment, and it exposed all the hidden strengths and weaknesses of different economies all across Europe, especially when it came to their currency.
And this, right here, is where the story takes a huge turn. Because while pretty much every other European economy was shrinking, Poland just kept growing. It was the only EU country to completely avoid a recession. Now, that wasn't just luck. It was because Poland had a secret weapon that its Eurozone neighbors had already given away.
So how'd they pull it off? What was this economic superpower that Poland had? Well, it all boils down to one key concept.
Monetary policy. Okay, I know that sounds super complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It's basically the toolbox a country has to either speed up or slow down its own economy, kind of like a thermostat for the nation's finances. The real question is, what tools are in that box?
Think of it like this. With the zloty, Poland has its own economic toolbox. If things get rough, its central bank can cut interest rates to encourage borrowing, or it can let the zloty's value fall, which makes Polish exports suddenly way cheaper for other countries. But when you join the euro, you hand that entire toolbox over to the European Central Bank. They set one interest rate for everybody, which might be great for the Eurozone as a whole, but might be a terrible fit for what Poland needs at that exact moment.
And this graph, this is that shock absorber in action. Just look at the red line, that's Poland. Right as the 2008 crisis hits, you see its value plummet compared to the euro area in black. That meant Polish goods suddenly became a bargain for the rest of the world. Exports went through the roof, and it cushioned the entire economy from the worst of the crash. It was a kind of flexibility that countries locked into the euro just didn't have.
But this whole decision to keep the zloty, it's not just about economics and charts. It actually runs much, much deeper than that.
Yeah, turns out the Polish people themselves are overwhelmingly against giving up their currency. For years now, Poles have shown the same thing over and over. A huge majority would rather just stick with the zloty. And you can bet that public opinion is a massive factor for any politician.
And this quote right here, it really gets to the emotional heart of the issue. For a lot of Poles, the zloty isn't just paper and coins. Think about it. After centuries of being controlled by other powers and decades of Soviet influence, having complete control over your own economy is a powerful symbol of independence. So giving that up, that's not just an economic decision, it's a deeply historical one.
Which brings us right back to our original question. With such powerful reasons, both economic and political, to wait, what does the future actually hold?
So when you boil it all down, Poland's waiting game really rests on these key pillars.
You've got the economic flexibility, that shock absorber we talked about. There's the huge issue of national sovereignty. You have overwhelming public opinion against a change. And critically, there's no hard deadline in their treaty that says they have to join.
So for now, it's a really calculated balancing act. The zloty has proven itself. It's a shield in a crisis. But at the same time, that political pull of being at the absolute center of European decision-making, that's strong too. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Will that economic shield always be more important than the political allure of the euro?
So what's your take? Is Poland making a savvy economic move here, or are they just delaying the inevitable? We'd love to know what you think, so drop a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next Explainer.
Because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because of why.